Okay, hi Aries, and welcome to your December 2021 General Tarot Forecast. This is Sky, coming on to talk to you about your lovely month ahead of December. I hope that you're doing really wonderful today. Thank you so much for being here and checking out this reading. If you're new, be sure to hit the subscribe button if the reading resonates and comment below and let me know how you're doing. And yes, I will be talking about the intuitive messages for your sign in December, as well as a week-to-week tarot forecast and an extended reading on Patreon. So let's get straight into it. Okay, so high stakes experiences for Aries in December. I think that that's going to be a lot of what you feel, or coming out of November, there's kind of like maybe something is revealed to you, or you are becoming privy to some type of information that really changes maybe how you feel about people or changes your perception of a lot of things. You might suddenly realize like the people that you trusted were interesting choices for that. And also the way that certain things were set many years ago, or the momentum that you decided to step onto many years ago, just is very strange in today's concept. So there's a kind of a getting up to speed. There's a realization of who we were then and then who we've changed to be now. And the previous infrastructure really struggles at this time. So you should kind of see that you've adopted a very new way of living. And I think the further that you push into these new methods or these new ways, the more you're going to basically just see a natural resolution in these older, outworn things that are seeming to come up for everyone in December. You've got the Magician, the World reversed, 8 of Cups, 7 of Cups. You kind of feel like the previous choices that you made perhaps could turn your world upside down, or that you need to move away from a previous commitment. This is the main thing that I'm feeling for your sign in the month of December. And the way that I think that we incentivize that for ourselves is to understand the creative potential of so much empty space in the future, or to understand also that we have to stop weighing ourselves down with these worries and stop having a battle of the mind or a battle of the aspiration to continue motivating our day-by-day activities. There's also a feeling of like not being able to borrow from your future with the 6 of Pentacles reversed. There's a feeling of no longer being able to go into emotional debt over perhaps a relationship. Like you might not feel like you can speak your truth, or you might not feel like you can really be transparent with a lot of the people in your life. And that's building, that's kind of snowballing into a state of unhappiness. So states of unhappiness I would pay close attention to in December if they are there. If they're there, they're guarantees of oncoming clarity. So try to not get discouraged by them, but try to also understand more clearly now why they're here, instead of like just being upset that they are here. What choices led to this feeling? How can I overcome this in the future? Because I feel that you're just like one little move away from a true overcoming. The World reversed, the Magician. It's like on both ends of the spectrum, you've got power, you've got capability, you've got resources and strength. From the very like beginning of this story that you're involved in, it's very strong, and then the end of the story that's coming as well is almost placed right, but it's not quite the way that you want it to be. So I kind of sense like a perfectionism, and I also sense like the holding on or the grasping to a previous aspiration that might just not really line up with you now. It might not be what you think it is either. Like you might be thinking, oh, this is like my career, or this is my health choices, when in reality it could just be like your idea of a very separatist reality generation. What do I mean by that? Like, in order to be in the place that I want to be, I've got to have a very distinct separation of like my health, my career, my relationship, and it's all got to be very managed and controlled by me. When in reality, the world is trying to kind of give you a more universally true experience of reality that you don't have to manage so hard, that you don't have to work so hard for. So it is interesting to know that, yes, 2022, that's coming very soon after this month, right, is going to be hardworking for a lot of people in a more motivated way than 2021 was actually. But after 2022, we've got to really be prepared to settle in to a more relaxed and more kind of easygoing place. And I know that we're talking a really long time in advance here, but it's good to know because I feel that many Aries are signing perhaps long-term contracts right now or trying to plan ahead. So if you are planning ahead, I think that it's appropriate to work very hard for most of 2022, but you do have to understand that a real shift is coming in 2023. And there's a primary shift to that happening in February of 2022 as well. As an Aries, looking at these paradigm shifts, looking at these experiences, I would try to maybe explain to myself why I've so over-focused in one area or why I've so doubted my ability to have more adaptability or more flexibility or perhaps more skills than I'm actually employing in my life right now. I would ask myself perhaps why I've relied so much on the idea of like money or the idea of career progress as the only expression of my value or my strength. And I would also ask myself, as an Aries person, am I ready to not have any changes from this reality that I'm feeling right now here in December of 2021? If that seems relieving, if you've just kind of gotten somewhere you wanted to be, that's wonderful. Feel free to enjoy this time without any need to think otherwise. But if there's a feeling of heaviness or if there's a feeling of regret, I do think that there is an important wake-up call coming in now and a need to walk away from certain things. And I am a little bit curious about what that looks like. I've been seeing this coming for a long time. However, it's still quite foggy to me, like how it actually happens, because I'm seeing so many people grasp onto their previous security generating status quo, and I don't understand how we're really walking away, though it seems we're called to leave certain habits or certain, for some people, it's even jobs and sources of income behind, only if you have a very, very clear and motivated, prepared safety net and path right in front of you that either replace or flower further these energy investments you've been creating for a long time. That's the only really situation that we can hope to have a complete shift with. But let's understand a little bit more about this with your week-to-week Aries. In the first week, you've got the Five of Wands reversed, rooted down by the Seven of Cups. So battle in the mind. And I think after you get past the first week of December, you're like golden. I think that you've got a lot of acceptations that come through in a beautiful way. But the first week is going to give you a little bit of a example of everything that you've involved yourself in and what it looks like in a long-term momentum. And it's overwhelming for a lot of us to see that. But I feel like you've got to sort through everything, okay? I think that you've got to ask yourself, is this okay for me about everything from like your house to your relationship to your career to your philosophies to your mantras to your mindsets to your continued, consistent ways of experiencing daily life. I think that each one of them need to be sort of sorted through, and you'd be surprised about what you will come up with that you can go ahead and discard here. It's going to be surprising like what that actually is. You might be thinking like listening to this reading, oh, it's my job, oh, it's my outworn relationship. Maybe it is those things, but maybe there's also aspects of your daily life that you're not even like conscious to anymore, that those might really be the things that need work here. So week number 2, beautiful. King of Wands rooted down by the World reversed. It's like just time to creatively sort through, to creatively parse. It's kind of like a creative parsing. Okay, that's what I feel for your energy. That's probably what I'll title your reading. Let me find my pen. It's like a creative parsing process for you during the month of December 21. And, you know, we still have the North Node in Gemini and the South Node in Sagittarius, and that really prepares you as an Aries to experience what you have been able to experience for the last year, which is higher levels of thinking, higher connection to your higher purpose. And it's going to become very physical in February and late January of 2022. But here in December, you still have a chance to just really contemplate, contemplative Aries definitely is going to be where it's at for this month, because it's going to be one of the last chances to be there for a while. It looks just really benevolent to me in the second week. Like, as you go through a bit of turmoil in the first week, it's very likely that the second week is followed by clarity and by creative expansion. And it seems like you don't really want to let go of that. Like, we sometimes want to prolong these feelings and prolong these thought-provoking times. And I think that you should give yourself as much time as possible in the second week for that. And then by the third week, with the Eight of Cups rooted down by the Six of Pentacles reversed, I mean, there's already an end in sight to the monotony, okay? The monotonous things that might be dressing themselves up as consistency, but are really more of a stagnation and a monotony more than anything else. It might not be quite over then, but you're going to know your limit, or you're going to know how much longer it can or can't go on. And I think that that's empowering, and I think that that leads you to actually find real solutions. So anything evocative of real solutions in the third week of December is really nice. Like, even if this is not going to be implemented for like even a year and a half, okay? I can see long timelines like that coming up. But then for some of you, it's like right then as well. It's really nice and liberating to just know that sometimes things don't go on forever. And I think that it's noble to be a very consistent person. But also it's good to be consistent where it's right too, you know? So themes of consistency, theme of contract, theme of the borrowing or the lending of energy, time, or money is coming up also in the third week. So those are going to be things you want to look into as well. Week 4, the Magician rooted down by the Hanged Man. If that does not sum up all of our energy right now, I don't know what does. On one hand, we really want to assert our recent ego evolution, and we want to be that leader, be that beacon of purpose. But on the other hand, we kind of want to sit back, relax, and observe too. And these things sometimes go hand in hand, but sometimes they're like oil and water. So look into things that are like oil and water. What is a mix matching of colors? What is an inharmonious combination of goals? Okay. You know, we don't think a lot about this, I think, but it's good to pursue natural prosperity and harmony of undertakings. So I also think that your identity is still pending. Okay, so identity is going to really change up in 2022. And like by July of 2022, it's going to be like many of us have sat or settled straight into a very new, refreshed, updated, or not really where we ever wanted to be as well, identity-wise. It's not something for us to obsess on, but the fourth week of December might be a good time for you, specifically Aries, to think about that. Do you want to be the hard-working, sort of, I don't know, magician, entrepreneurial vibe of the magician, or do you want to be the more reserved, kind of cold and callous and to some degree refined or even restrained energy of the Hanged Man? Both have their place and both are very powerful in their own ways. It is sometimes strange when we're both of those things at once, though, but it is also extremely powerful. So I kind of feel like that's where you're at. Let's talk more about that in your extended reading on Patreon, Aries. Let's talk about developing your own sense of personal power and understanding this ego evolution a little bit more. And maybe even a little bit about 2022, okay, in your reading. I'm feeling like you need a little bit more preparation than the other signs for that. So you can click the center of your screen or the link below to get your extended reading on Patreon. I do weekly forecasts on Saturdays over there, and it's just such a fun, wonderful service. We also have a Discord community as well. Check that out below. But yes, Patreon extended reading. Let's go do that now. Click the center of your screen. Much love, Aries. Have a great month. Bye.